Let's talk about a war. One that was fought inside a cage made of 10 tons of steel and plexiglass. This wasn't just about a championship title, it was about destiny itself. See, this match, it wasn't just a match, it was a crucible, a brutal structure designed to either forge a legend or break a man completely. So let's get into what really happened inside that unforgiving chamber.
And that really brings us to the big question behind this whole thing, doesn't it? What is the price of a dream? I mean, for some people, it's a lifetime of hard work. For others, it's that one last desperate gamble. But for the six men we're about to talk about, the price was, well, it was something you could see and touch.
Yeah, for these 6 men, the prize was having to endure this thing, the Elimination Chamber. And the prize for the one guy left standing at the end, a guaranteed main event match for the undisputed WWE Championship at WrestleMania. You know, the grandest stage of them all. To put it simply, absolutely everything was on the line. Okay, so to really understand the chaos that went down, you first have to understand the competitors. Each man who walked into that chamber was carrying the weight of a really unique and powerful motivation. So let's break down who was in the fight. First up, you have the legend himself, John Cena. Now get this, he only has 10 months left in his entire WWE career. So this was it, his final appearance inside the chamber, and maybe his last real shot at the one thing that could truly cement his legacy forever.
And this quote right here, it gets to the absolute heart of his mission. Just like the commentators pointed out, this wasn't just about winning another match for him. No, this was about achieving the impossible, a record-breaking 17th World Championship. That's a number that would, statistically, put him in a class all by himself as the greatest of all time, period.
And then you have the revolutionary. After a whole decade away from the company, CM Punk came back with one single, all-consuming goal. A goal that has literally haunted his entire career and was the whole reason he came back to the ring. The commentary team really just cuts right to the chase here. For Punk, this wasn't about another title. It was about the one thing, the only thing he's never done, main event WrestleMania. After all these years, this was, without a doubt, a must-win situation for him. Of course, it wasn't a two-man show. Rounding out the field were 4 other guys, and each one had a legitimate claim to victory. You had Drew McIntyre, the defending chamber winner, who was looking for some redemption. You had Seth Rollins, a guy just fueled by this bitter, intense hatred for CM Punk. Then there was Damian Priest, the punishing former champ. And of course, Logan Paul, the maverick outsider who always finds a way to shock the world. So, with all the competitors locked away in their pods, the bell finally rang and the war was on. Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins, 2 guys with a seriously bitter history, kicked things off, and believe me, the violence was immediate.
Now you gotta understand, the structure of this match is absolutely key. As you can see from this timeline, new guys enter at timed intervals. So Drew McIntyre had to start from the very beginning. But CM Punk? He drew the lucky number 6. Which gave him a massive advantage, letting him enter last as the freshest man in the entire fight.
But here's the thing about the Elimination Chamber. Strategy and advantages can be completely undone by one simple thing, emotion. And for 2 of the top guys in this match, their own personal obsessions became their fatal flaws.
Just take Drew McIntyre, for example. For weeks, he had been talking nonstop about how he didn't just want to beat John Cena, he wanted to embarrass him. And that single-minded focus, well, it would turn out to be a massive, massive strategic blunder.
And this sequence right here shows you the exact moment it all just fell apart for him. Look, McIntyre flattens Cena with his finisher, the Claymore. He has the match won right there. But instead of going for the pinfall, what does he do? He wastes precious seconds, taunting him. And while his back is turned, Damian Priest seizes the opportunity, rolls McIntyre up for the pin, and just like that, the defending champion is out. A huge mental mistake.
But Drew wasn't the only one. Seth Rollins came into this match with what you can only describe as a borderline obsession with CM Punk, a deep-seated hatred that, time and time again, caused him to lose focus on the only thing that mattered, winning.
And here it is, the critical moment for Rollins. He drives John Cena right through a plexiglass pod with a devastating move. Cena is completely out of it. Rollins has a golden opportunity to eliminate a legend. But what does he do? He turns his attention to an already down CM Punk. His obsession totally cost him, and as we're about to see, it would come back to haunt him in a big way.
So, with 4 men eliminated, the match came down to its most historic pairing. 2 icons,
two different eras, locked inside the chamber for one final showdown.
Yep, it all came down to this. Two legendary careers colliding, and each man was chasing a totally different but equally important piece of history. For Cena, it was about that final, crowning achievement. And for Punk, it was about grabbing the one thing he's always been denied.
And seriously, you just can't overstate the history here. As the commentators reminded everyone, their rivalry literally defined an entire era of wrestling. So for them to be the final two all these years later, with everything on the line, it just felt like a moment of pure destiny.
But in the Elimination Chamber, destiny can be a pretty cruel thing. As these two legends battled back and forth, the match started hurtling towards a finish that absolutely no one saw coming.
At this point, both Cena and Punk were just running on fumes. They were driven by nothing but pure willpower. They had given it everything they had. And it was in that moment of mutual exhaustion and vulnerability, that an old enemy decided to make his presence felt.
That's right, Seth Rollins, who had already been eliminated, illegally re-entered the match. While Cena was down, Rollins delivered his finishing move, the Stomp, to CM Punk, directly onto the unforgiving steel floor outside the ring. It knocked Punk out cold.
I mean, there's really no other way to put it. The commentary call was blunt, it was definitive, and it was true. Seth Rollins, driven by that same bitterness that cost him the match in the first place, had just stolen CM Punk's dream. All Cena had to do was recover and apply his submission hold to the unconscious Punk for the win.
And with the ringing of the bell, that was it. John Cena had punched his ticket to WrestleMania. The landscape was set. A legend was going to get his final shot at glory. But that victory, it would be forever shrouded in controversy. Which leaves us all with one final, lingering question. John Cena is going to WrestleMania. It's a storybook ending to a legendary career. But that ending was written by another man's hatred. So as we look back on all that carnage, you really have to ask yourself, was this dream truly realized, or was it just stolen?